Welcome back to Living in Mexico. I'm Ana Maria Salazar. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, one of the issues that we address frequently on the show has to do with law and order, security issues, violence. And our friends at the National Observatory, Citizen Observatory, have published their 2025 report. That's why I really appreciate Francisco Rivas, who is the director of this observatory, of this NGO, joining us today. So, Francisco, welcome to the show. What happened in 2025? And I ask you with a lot of curiosity because, as you know, President Claudia Sheinbaum has in January, during a press conference, provided very optimistic information in
Data.
terms of homicides, and that Mexico has been able to reduce murders in Mexico. So where are we? Welcome to the show, Francisco.
Thank you, Ana Maria, for having me. Well, 2025 was a very interesting year. The first thing we have to be really clear is we have a different policy about security and justice.
Yeah.
And when I say different, I mean respect the AMLO's government. As you remember, in the administration of Lopez Obrador, we talk about hugs, no
Abrazos y
shoots.
no balazos, hugs
Exa-
and no bullets. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
But in reality, that was just a claim, nothing really concrete about that policy. There was no objective, there is no priority, there's no way to measure some advance. And in 6 years, we lost a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Last administration was the worst in every single subject about security
Mm-hmm.
and justice. So the first thing is 2025 is a year when we saw return a policy about fight against every single crime,
Mm-hmm.
homicide, extortion, kidnapping, robbery of oil, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a very good news. The other thing is that news translate in, and in the first 6 months of the Claudia Sheinbaum's administration, they achieved more about the number of people that was detained, about all the extradition, about all the assecuration of drugs, that all the 6 years of
Oh wow.
AMLO. So this is a second good thing. The thing that I'm not so sure is if you have that good results, why you need to force the narrative and why you need to show some results that are not so clear.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean, in the last days, as you say, Claudia Sheinbaum, the President Sheinbaum, says that in Mexico, homicide decreased 40%. The data doesn't say that.
Yeah.
The data is good. The data says that we have less homicide, but we have
Mm-hmm.
23% less homicide, not
Mm-hmm.
40%. And for me, 23% is a very good result.
Right.
So I don't understand why you have to force the narrative and say something that is actually not real.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is when you talk about less homicide, you are forgiving some specific things. One is that we have an increase of other crimes against life. And this is very
It's a very
tricky.
strange, it's kind of a tricky, it's kind of like they're hiding numbers, right? It's crimes against life, but they don't call it murder.
Exactly. And they
Yeah.
are 8% more. So
Oh.
we have 23% less homicide, but we
Mm-hmm.
have 8% more um, number of those other crimes. And the
Mm-hmm.
other thing is, if you look for the other huge issue about violence in Mexico that is disappearing, in 2025, we have 14,100 people that disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And this is almost a 10% more respect 2025, 24. So if you mix all those numbers, you can see maybe there is a less on side, but we are not sure if they are
What
that much that they claim.
joining today is Francisco Rivas. He heads the Citizen Observatory, National Observatory. Um, one more question, and this is important. I mean, what happened to the data regarding the disappeared? Do we know how? I mean, we know there is some information in terms of who's disappearing. The question is why there's more people disappearing in Mexico.
And this is something that they don't want to answer. Actually, I think for me, it's something that it's very bad. It's rude. They use the word. They say, "Oh, it's people that want disappear," and I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people that don't want to be
Found,
fined
yeah.
because maybe I don't want to pay for
Child
my
support,
children, child
yeah,
support, or
yeah.
my debts, or something like that. But
Mhm,
this is minimum number.
mhm,
We have a huge problem related with organized crime. We have a huge problem related with people that is forced to work for organized crime, but at the
mhm.
end, nobody knows
What's
nothing
happening to
about
them?
them.
Yeah.
And there is another thing. Even if we last year have 14,100 people disappear,
Mhm,
is not enough respect at the number of people that actually disappear in our country,
mhm,
because we
mhm.
have to remember that we have one of the hugest, the biggest cross through United States,
Right.
people that came from South America, from
Mhm.
Central America, but not only, but from Africa, from
Right.
Asia, and these people that cross our country and nobody knows what happened with them.
Mhm,
And we don't have the claims, we don't have the complaints in the authorities,
mhm.
because someone from China or from Ecuador or from
Right.
Venezuela doesn't come to Mexico to say, "Oh, my people, my
Mhm.
person, my family is lost."
Yeah. Well, those are the issues that we're starting out with this year. If anybody wants to read the report, where would they find the report, Francisco?
In our page is www.onc,
Mhm.
that's our sigla, .org.mx.
Okay, well, and we'll also be putting or posting the link to our on our social media. Francisco Rivas, once again, I really appreciate you joining us here and Living in Mexico. He heads the National Citizens Observatory, and he's been joining us throughout the years. Thank you so much. We are going to go to a commercial break, and I really appreciate you joining us here on Living